It was shocking and a mad dash to the U.S. border that was met by rubber bullets and tear gas for more moms and children at that border. But the law is the law, right? Depends on who you ask. Border Patrol officials say a migrant woman was impaled after trying to climb a fence at the U.S.-Mexico border. This all happened as her small children watched. The woman was taken to the hospital. No word on her condition as of yet. But that was only part of the action. U.S. border agents also reportedly fired tear gas on hundreds of migrants protesting near the border with Mexico on Sunday after some of them attempted to get through the fencing and wires separating the two countries. And American authorities shut down the nation's busiest border crossing from the city where thousands are waiting to apply for asylum. Joining me on The Factor to wade through this mess is Republican former congressional candidate Justin Laurie and businessman, also Cesar Espinosa of Fiel. So when you guys saw all of this coverage on the news this weekend, Sunday to be exact, what were your thoughts about it, Justin?
I wasn't surprised. We've been watching this caravan move for at least a month, 2 months, and it's going to come down to a confrontation in the end. Will these people follow the law? Will we have a border? Or will it devolve into chaos by just trying to rush the border and come in illegally on their own terms?
Cesar, when you saw individuals, according to reports, rushing the border, trying to get across without going through legal means, your thoughts on that?
Well, this is a very complex issue, and it's it's an issue that has to be resolved and an issue that has to be talked about. For the last month or so, we've seen the U.S. Border Patrol as well as the Mexican authorities kind of funnel people and shut down ports of entry. If people want to say that people want to follow the law, the asylum law states that if people present themselves at a port of entry, then they can apply for asylum. Unfortunately, U.S. Border Patrol and Mexican authorities have funneled people and have closed down those entry points, and thus moving people to other points where we're not condoning by any means that they act violently or that they rush the border in any means, but unfortunately, they've been kind of funneled into these situations.
So, Justin, when individuals are not able to go through the process of getting asylum as under U.S. law that they could, so what else are they to do?
They have to be patient. Nobody has a right to enter America unless you're a U.S. citizen. So if there are too many people applying for asylum, then they have to wait their time. They have to wait their spot in queue in order to get in. It's not an ideal situation by any means. That's why we as Americans, we can't condone this practice of creating these giant caravans. It will overwhelm the system. There has to be a better way.
What about that, Cesar? Overwhelming the system, just too many people trying to come in.
In fact, the system is already overwhelmed. We see that immigration laws are very outdated, and even points of legal migration or points where people could apply to come in legally are very outdated. Right now, for an immigrant trying to come from Mexico, they're barely working on applications in 2000s, and that's people trying to come in legally. To the point of the people or asylum seekers, the law states, once again, that people have to be on U.S. soil to apply for asylum. So to say that they have to be patient and wait in the line that doesn't exist is actually a misnomer. People, the law stipulates that asylum people have to touch U.S. ground and seek asylum here. There can be a consular process or an embassy process back home, but at the same time, a lot of the times they're not even allowed to apply for those means either.
I'm glad that we can both agree that the laws do need to be updated. They do need to be changed. If we had a good lesson here, it's that the wall is necessary, that people will do any means necessary to bend to their will to cross into the country. Secondly, the catch.
How likely is that wall, though? Some Republicans are not supporting the wall, saying that the price tag is just too high.
I mean, the price tag is ridiculous. The price tag to have America be the place where anyone in the world can come here. I mean, if you look at this caravan, imagine if people got on a boat, a big cargo ship, much like we have in the Mediterranean with Libya. Instead of coming from Libya, right now they go up to Italy, they go to Malta, they go to France, they go to Spain. What if they made a left-hand turn and they sailed over to New York? What if a cargo ship came in from Brazil, full of migrants, and they landed right here in Houston? What if that cargo ship came from... Well, no, the laws had been updated, and the laws changed. In the 1930s, things changed. If you want to adjust that law again. But in 1931, the border was declared closed for mass migration to this level. If you want to change it, that's fine. go to Congress, get it codified. But don't just force your will and say, yes, come on in.
Go ahead,
The
Cesar.
thing is that laws are made when it's convenient for people. When people came over first to the United States, they didn't respect any laws that were already here. They made their own laws. And now when it's convenient, after people allow people, undocumented people, to come in and work and exploit them, now all of a sudden it's a big deal. And then this was created also as a political tool. How convenient that right before the election, right before midterms, it was a big fuss about it. And now after midterms, President Trump basically stopped talking about it until he tear gassed children yesterday. We cannot forget that they shot tear gas canisters and rubber bullets across international lines, across international borders into a foreign country. And yet we're going to sit here and say that's not a big deal. We're going to ignore that fact, when in fact this is a big deal, and we should all be working to figure out a way so that you use the system that exists right
Last
now
15
to allow
seconds.
people to come in for asylum.
15, and I mean 15.
15 seconds. Okay. I'm not even sure where to begin with that one right there. I will always protect and support the border agents. When they're having rocks thrown at them, they must and they need to defend themselves. Otherwise, next time, it will be even worse. No, they're tear gassing the adults who are carrying the children. If you don't want your kids tear gas, don't bring your kids across the border illegally.
And we'll end it there. Thank you, guys.